The Anti-Defamation League called for the firing of Tucker Carlson. This is now, I don't know, the billionth call to get Tucker Carlson fired for obvious reasons. But this time it had to do with an insane and racist theory called the so-called replacement theory, also known as the white replacement theory. Fox actually defended Carlson because of course they will. And now he's emboldened to double down on the comments that he had earlier regarding this replacement theory. So let's hear what he had to say and then we'll share our thoughts.
Ordinarily, we'd ignore all of this. Once you've been denounced as a white supremacist for quoting Martin Luther King, you realize none of it's real. It's all another form of social control. Honestly, who cares what they think? But in this one case, we thought it might be worth pausing to restate the original point, both because it was true and therefore worth saying, and also because America badly needs a national conversation about it. Demographic change is the key to the Democratic Party's political ambitions. Let's say that again for emphasis because it is the secret to the entire immigration debate. Demographic change is the key to the Democratic Party's political ambitions. In order to win and maintain power, Democrats plan to change the population of the country. They're no longer trying to win you over with their program. They're obviously not trying to improve your life. They don't even really care about your vote anymore. Their goal is to make you irrelevant. That is provably true. And because it's true, it drives them absolutely crazy when you say it out loud. A hurt dog barks. They scream about how noting the obvious is immoral. You're a racist if you dare to repeat things that they themselves proudly say.
That's rich coming from a guy who identifies with a party that couldn't handle the fact that voters in various battleground states decided to vote for Biden over Trump. And then they decided to respond to that by literally making it difficult for certain voters to cast their ballots, thus disenfranchising voters that they believe are more likely to vote Democratic. That happened in Georgia. They're working on it in Texas. These are people who have engaged in the most undemocratic behavior imaginable. And for Tucker Carlson to argue that the Democratic Party is currently involved in replacing white voters is ridiculous, okay? So look, Woz, you jump in. I have a lot to say about this.
Yeah, no. The reason why Tucker Carlson's little theory that he thinks he's unlocking on the world is so stupid is because in America, all we do is invent new white people. So this idea that white people or whiteness can be replaced is stupid because you have to ignore the fact that when the Irish came here, they were not white. We made them white. When the Italians came here, they were not white. We made them white. Why does Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio get to be white now? We made Cubans white. We'll just make more white people. Like this idea that we're erasing whiteness, and that's the Democratic Party strategy to get rid of the Republicans and just white people in general is ridiculous. We will just invent new white people. We will find them because we always do in this country. I love this idea that whiteness is so narrowly defined that there's this finite amount of them that we're just gonna run out of a supply of them because the Dems are letting people come here from Honduras. It's ridiculous. We're gonna make other people white. And that's how we're gonna keep this whole charade going of, the freaking imaginary races that we've invented for ourselves. Because again, none of these people were white when they got here. We used to call Italian people ethnic whites, now they're just white. Same thing with Jewish people. We're just going to invent more of them. This little fake quandary that Tucker Carlson has invented in his mind is laughable and is stupid because it ignores American history.
Not only that, I mean, he's telling on himself, and so are other people who spout this conspiracy theory, because in their minds, no, like why would we reconsider what our platform is or what we're offering voters? Why would we do any of that? We serve white voters, and we're not going to expand on, trying to represent the best interests of people of color, of anyone that we don't consider white. Like that's basically what he's saying here, right? It's an admission that the Republican Party does not care about any other group, that has no interest in representing any other group. And that's really what the takeaway should be. The other takeaway, though, is that for anyone who falls for the nonsense coming from Tucker Carlson about, the plight of the working man in America. We gotta look out for these blue collar work. Tucker Carlson's solution is not Medicare for all. It's not increasing the federal minimum wage. It's not wealth redistribution. Tucker Carlson's response or answer to all of those societal ills is, let's purge this country as much as we possibly can of immigrants, people of color, people who don't identify with us. Okay, so anyone who thinks like, no, it's totally fine. I'm gonna go on Tucker Carlson's show and we're gonna have a friendly conversation because we agree, we can work together. We can work together and actually do something about income and wealth inequality in this country. You're stupid. People who think that are stupid. Okay, because you have to take a step back and look at the bigger picture and look at what Tucker Carlson is offering as solutions. And this is the garbage he offers. In fact, he doubles down on it further in this next clip.
Our leaders have no right to encourage foreigners to move to this country in order to change election results. Doing that is an attack on our democracy. Yet for decades, our leaders have done just that, and they keep doing it, and they keep doing it because it works. Consider Virginia. The counties across the river from Washington, D.C. now contain one of the largest immigrant communities in the United States. Most of these immigrants are hardworking and decent people. Many have been very successful in business, good for them. But they also have very different politics from the people who used to live there. Their votes have allowed Democrats to seize control of the entire state and change it into something unrecognizable. Governor Blackface Klan Robes in Richmond owes his job to immigrants in Arlington and Falls Church. Similar trends are now underway in Georgia, and North Carolina, and many other states. Mass immigration increases the power of the Democratic Party, period. That's the reason Democrats support it. It's the only reason.
Black voters were activated in Georgia, which helped Joe Biden win the state in the general election. So what does Tucker Carlson propose to do about that? These are Black people who were born in this country. So like, what do you want? By the way, and
Anna,
most
come on,
of them
you know Black people aren't American. What are you talking about?
No, but like, what is his proposed solution here? I want people to understand, like, the only point of Tucker Carlson's show is, first of all, to use members of the dumb left to do his work for him, which works very well for people who want to get some exposure. So there's point number one. And yeah, go ahead and cry about it. Go ahead and tweet me. I'm not going to pay attention to any of it. And then the other thing that he tries to do is sow hatred and division in the country, because divide and conquer is an incredibly effective strategy. It make sure that you make people fearful about what's happening to the country. Ooh, the demographic shifts. Ooh, you're gonna lose your rights. You're gonna lose this. You're gonna lose that. As if something shady is going on. When in reality, the only party that I see at this very moment doing away with people's right to vote or making it incredibly difficult for people to vote are Republicans. Is the Republican Party in various battleground states who did not like the fact that an increased number of voters meant that their candidate didn't win, right? In Georgia, again, with the help of Stacey Abrams and other organizers and activists who got out the vote. Yeah, it looks like as you increase the right to vote and expand the right to vote, Democrats tend to beat Republicans, which is why Republicans focus all their energy on gerrymandering and focus all their energy on things like voter ID laws or whatever they can possibly do to make voting such an obstacle that people are discouraged from doing it. That's what Republicans do. That's the undemocratic crap that we've been dealing with, not just following this past election, but for several elections, consecutively, we've seen this type of legislation either be proposed or straight out implemented because Republicans can't change their platform. They refuse to change their platform. They'd rather cheat. That's what this is.
And it ignores just the central truth about so many immigrant populations is how like truly and actually conservative they are. If there was ever a record, like these words don't mean anything anymore. Being conservative like call somebody who self-identifies as conservative. It has nothing to do with wanting to keep the business class entrenched or basically being socially conservative when it comes to stuff like sex education or gay rights, et cetera, et cetera. It's just about not liking Democrats. This idea that the GOP, if they wanted to sort of court the vote of these immigrant populations by just explaining to them like, yo, we're the party that loves conservatism. You guys seem to be pretty conservative. They could do that, but they won't, because they want to do the Tucker Carlson thing and talk about white extermination and all this other idiotic crap again, which I need people to understand. There is no through line when it comes to the whiteness of an Italian American and say some WASP from New England. There's no ethnic through line, there's no cultural through line, there's no sort of scientific as far as DNA or whatever you want to use. There's nothing. We just started calling both groups white. That's it. That's all that happened.
And let me also just note, there are immigrants who are actually pretty damn conservative, right? So Armenian immigrants, pretty damn conservative. We're talking about people immigrating to the United States from Latin American countries. Most of them are pretty religious, and they could be swayed by Republicans if they weren't so deplorable and so awful toward immigrants overall. But again, they're just unwilling to change their platform, unwilling to change their messaging because they would rather sow hatred as opposed to try to court these voters with a different strategy, a different message, something that's maybe more appealing to people. And that's who Tucker Carlson is. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.